What is up, YouTube? And today we have another 7 Nights Rebirth video, and we're going to be talking about Hydra, otherwise known as Iron Devourer, and how you guys can start crafting your team and also start farming the boss pretty easily. Now, this boss drops some very good PvP sets. It drops effect hit rate, which is very good for CC characters. Also drops the Orchestrator set, which is going to be very good for things that want to resist said CC. And then you have this really good set for PvE, the Avenger set. This will give you just flat damage increase, which is amazing, and then boss damage boost. This is going to be pretty much required for the higher levels of the other raid bosses and even Iron Devourer itself, because the health scales insanely high on these bosses with like 11, 12, and even into 10. And also, every single boss that you fight here is going to have some enrage mechanic. So if you look at the passive, you'll see that he has ramping attack boost. So because of this, you need to kill the boss pretty quickly. You can't just like stall it out. So this set just gives you insane damage and will be very good for making your teams. Now basically for this boss, there's going to be certain things you want to bring. You're going to want to bring paralysis immunity, poison immunity. Basically Victoria and Lucy are the only two characters that are really good here, so you're going to bring them. And then for your damage dealer, you're going to bring Yuri or Pascal. And then in this focus target tab, you're going to see that Asura's here because she has a focus target ability. Basically, she'll hit something with this and then it'll inflict focus target. This will make all of your teammates target that enemy only. And the reason why you want this is because the boss actually has 3 heads. So because of this, you want to be hitting the main head the entire time. If you don't have focus target, you can't really prioritize the monster. Now, a lot of people that use Asura don't know how to make her always target the head either, and I'll show you guys how when I talk about her build. But Asura is going to be the focus target character you're going to bring. You actually don't have to bring a focus target character. You can actually bring Biscuit instead of Asura, which I don't really recommend until like a lot later. Even everyone in my guild who's like which is a pretty like whale progression heavy guild, isn't really using Biscuit here yet. And the reason why is because we'll talk about that later as well. So basically you want paralysis immunity, poison immunity. You want a damage dealer, either Pascal if you have him. Otherwise Yuri is a good free to play option, but Pascal is super strong here, so you definitely want to make sure you get him from the wish list. Then your focus target in Asura. In the last slot, you're going to bring usually a healer. It's going to be Lina. Lina will be the best character for healing in this boss fight. If you guys don't have Lina though, you can use Evan. Evan's shield and his block chance buff is very good. But like I said, I'll show you guys my team comp and how you can get your Asura to basically always hit the head. So you're gonna see this is my team comp. We have Victoria here, we have Lucy here, we have Lina as our healer. Like I said, if you don't have Lina because you didn't spend $1 on the top up, which is fine, you can use Evan. So Evan is a very good choice as well because he has a defense boost on your team permanently. He has a shield for your team. And you definitely want him T6 if you're bringing him here because you want that extra block rate so you take less damage. So Evan's a fine option. It's just that Lina will be a bit better for the most part. And then, like I said, you want Asura. So the way you get Asura to actually hit the boss every single time with her focus target, which is what people are struggling with, is to make sure she's at 100% weakness hit chance. So she's going to be getting 70% from her passive here. If you enhance it, it goes to 80%. You just need 30% to hit that 100% chance from her base stats, which is very easily attainable, right? You can just literally put her on this bounty tracker set, or you can even just put her on like one of these main stat weakness hit chances, and she'll be hitting the boss pretty much every single time. And the reason why you need this is because if you actually look at the tooltip for weakness hit chance, it will make it so that one, it kind of acts as like a second crit modifier because you do increased damage when it lands. But 2, when it actually occurs, before the character actually does their animation and you see the damage critting, the game will calculate if you will weakness hit. And if it does calculate it correctly and you do land it, then your attack will target the enemy with the lowest HP ratio. Now the boss in this fight, the main head, will start at lower HP percentage on purpose. The devs just made it that way so it's easier to, I guess, land the focus target and to abuse the weakness hit chance on other characters to focus it. So as long as you have her at 100% total from her passive and also from her stats, if you use your spirit blade at the start of battle, this will land the focus target on the main head, and then everyone else will hit the boss. So it's very, very important to make sure that she is at that 100% cap with her passive and her stats included. Now, in terms of gear, depending on what stage you want to farm, you don't really need 4 equipment slots unlocked. I actually have everything unlocked on my characters because I'm preparing to push into T10 and T11. But you can see like my gear isn't even ready yet, right? You can see if I'm looking at my Asura, like unleveled weapon here. If you look at my Victoria, unleveled weapon and armor. So I just unlocked my slots from ruby farming a lot, but I didn't really, you know, upgrade anything. You can even see, did not mean to click that, but you can see one of my weapons down here isn't upgraded at all either. So the only thing is you just need your DPS, whether you're using Yuri or Pascal, to be 4 DPS spots, just because, not DPS spots, equipment slots, because you want them to do as much damage as you possibly can to the boss. Now, I said earlier you can use Biscuit instead of Asura. So Biscuit is used later on, and you will want to use her later on. It's just that earlier on, it's pretty hard to use her because even though she does give you a ton of damage, and she also does buff weakness hit chance, for the first like few levels, and probably for the first week or two when you're farming this, you're probably still going to want to use Asura, which is why I leveled her up. And the reason why is because if I actually use Biscuit instead of her, you're not going to have the focus target anymore. So what this means is you're going to have your Biscuit boost your Pascal and give him this buff, and then you'll have to reach, I think it's 66% weakness hit chance with my Biscuit, how she is, so that I'm at 100% with Biscuit's buff, and that way Pascal is always hitting the main head. But then you also want crit rate and you also want more damage, so it makes it so that it's pretty hard to build. But if you can get that build going, it is the best setup by a large margin. So, you know, it is something you can consider if you don't want to build Asura because you quote unquote don't want to waste resources. You don't have to, and you can just go into Biscuit if you have her. But for me, I just found it not really worth it to, you know, tune it like that, because I'm going to use Asura into T10 anyways and farm there for a while because it's a lot easier to gear for, and just makes it a lot easier to make these characters tanky and make my Pascal just do as much damage as possible without needing crazy gear. So this is the setup that I am running on. So I'm going to show you guys the run, but before I do, just for skill queuing, you want to make sure that you skill queue with Asura's focus target first, then you want Pascal's Titan of Calamity second because it's his main nuke, and then after that you're going to want your Pascal to have this Gate to the Abyss to go third, and that's because this will make it so that you reset the cooldown of your Titan of Calamities, and you'll also get like this damage reduction ability. But just before we start, I just want to note again, because I forgot to mention after I looked at Pascal's skills, Pascal's ultimate actually has 50% crit built in, so you actually don't really need that much crit. You only need 50% crit rate, so that's all you really need and really need to aim for. Everything else can go into crit damage, and if you're running Biscuit, of course, into weakness hit chance as well. And if you have him T6, similar to Tio, he'll crit every single time on this at 100%, so you won't need any crit rate at all. So I'll show you guys the run. We'll just do one repeat battle because, yeah, I'm just showing you one repeat battle. But like I said, you want to prioritize Asura's focus target ability into Pascal's ability into the reset. Now, if you do find that you're dying and you can't really afford to do the reset, you don't really have to. It just slows down your runs. So you can definitely do a heal as a third skill if you really need, or even the second skill. But if you can't, you know, do this exact order, you will lose time. Now note that my Asura goes into the main boss. You can see it's a yellow number there, which is the weakness hit chance. And you can see the boss at the top left here started very low. So that means that she'll always target the boss when she procs her weakness hit. And now Pascal goes into the boss because the boss has the focus target. And you can just see that my entire team is going into the main head. And this was a problem that a lot of people were having when I was, you know, just looking at some comments and some DMs on videos. Everyone was asking, how do I hit the middle head on Hydra on like random videos? So I know it's a little late, but I am showing you guys now how you can. But you can see Pascal used his ultimate twice. You can see my team is getting very low, and this is mostly because of the fact that my gear isn't leveled. So I'm very surprised I'm actually able to still do level 10 with this setup, because you guys saw like some of my gear is at +0, so I'm missing a lot of stats. Especially like if you have an armor at +0, you're missing so much HP and defense. But regardless, you can see Pascal is just the GOAT here. He's really healthy all the time because his His reset ability gives him like the invulnerable thing, which makes him super broken, not just for Hydra, but for like a ton of bosses, especially in like Tower of Trials and like dungeons and stuff like that. But you can see, you know, nothing has went into the side heads because we have Asura just applying focus target onto the main head. Here we go again. And the boss should die to autos, I believe, or I guess like random skills at this point. But definitely, I can get into T10 for sure if I just, you know, upgrade my gears. My Pascal has 0 skill enhancements as well, so that's a huge L, which is going to gimp his damage by a lot, but can't really do much because we don't get a lot of those mats, unfortunately. But yeah, you can see my Asura is on death's door right now, probably because she's on random pieces and like crit rate set or something. I don't even remember. But yeah, boss should die. I'm kind of just yapping and stalling until it does. Poisons, you know, all are immune. Oh, my Asura died. Actually perfect, because now my Pascal uses the skill. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, there you go. Not the cleanest run, but like I said, this is T9 and I'm like on the worst gear you can even imagine, as you guys saw. But yeah, pretty much it for this video. Hopefully this helped you guys out in figuring out how to get through the Hydra bosses and stages. Thank you for watching. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video.